So in chapter 3, this is where we started talking about linear equations. Remember, we talked about standard form, which looked like this. Ax plus by equals c. That was the first linear equation that we talked about. With a lot of these questions, you're not going to have a lot of math to do. You're just going to have to kind of read the information that they give you, answer a question about the equation that they give you. So this first one tells you that Francisco purchased X hot dogs and Y hamburgers at a baseball game. He spent a total of $10. The equation below represents the relationship between the number of hot dogs and the number of hamburgers he purchased. So X hot dogs, Y hamburgers. That's going to be the number of hot dogs, number of hamburgers. Keep that in mind. They tell you that the ordered pair 2, 1 is a solution of the equation. What does it represent? Remember, X represents the number of hot dogs, Y represents the number of hamburgers. So in this case, answer choice A, hamburgers cost 2 times as much as hot dogs. No. The cost actually will be $3 and $4. Those are things that you can infer from the equation that you're given. Answer choice B, Francisco purchased 2 hot dogs and 1 hamburger. Yes, that is your answer. That's the one you want to choose. In this case, X and Y represent the number of hot dogs, number of hamburgers, has nothing to do with the price. The price is $3 and $4. You can also get rid of C and D. We're going next to number 4. So you get a linear equation with 2 variables, y equals negative 1/4 x minus 1. And they want to know which shows the solutions to the equation when x equals 4, 0, and negative 4. Basically, all you have to do here is plug in these 3 numbers for x and figure out the corresponding y values, write them as ordered pairs. So when you plug in 4 for x, y equals negative 1/4 times 4 minus 1. Negative 1/4 times 4 gives you negative 1. Negative 1 minus 1 gives you negative 2. So first ordered pair is going to be 4, negative 2. When you plug in 0, negative 1/4 times 0 minus 1. Negative 1/4 times 0 gives you 0. 0 minus 1 gives you negative 1. So second order pair, 0, negative 1. When you plug in negative 4, so negative 1/4 times negative 4 minus 1. Negative 1/4 times negative 4 gives you positive 1, and 1 minus 1 gives you 0. So your last order pair, negative 4, 0. The only answer choice that has those 3 ordered pairs is answer choice B. We are going next to number 8. So number 8 tells you that the growth of a kitten is described by the equation y equals 2.5x plus 4, where y represents the kitten's weight in ounces and x represents the weeks after it was born. So y is the weight, x is weeks. What's the meaning of the fact that the point 414 lies on the graph of the equation? So remember, x is weeks, y is weight. So this tells you 4 weeks and 14 ounces. Now you just have to look for the answer choice that is telling you when the kitten was 4 weeks old, it weighed 14 ounces. So answer choice A, the kitten had an initial weight of 4 ounces. That's not what this is telling you. Answer choice B, the kitten is growing at a rate of 4 ounces per week. Also not what this information is telling you. The kitten weighs 4 ounces when it's 14 weeks old. No, that's backwards. Also, that would be a really little 14-week-old kitten, but that's a whole nother discussion. Answer choice D, the kitten weights, not weights, it's weighs. Get rid of that T. Weighs 14 ounces when it's 4 weeks old. That's the answer choice you want to choose. We are skipping next to number 12. This might be one of the strangest keystone problems ever in all the problems that you guys will do over the next couple weeks. So number 12 tells you that the lengths in inches, x and y of 2 fish, are related by the equation 5x minus 4y equals 24. So x and y represent lengths in inches of fish. The 2 ordered pairs 4, negative 1, and 12, 9 are solutions to the equation, which means mathematically, if you plug those numbers in, you would get a true equation. Which statement best evaluates whether these two solutions make sense? You have absolutely no math to do here. If you plug those numbers into this equation, both of them are going to work. They're both solutions, okay? But there's one of them that doesn't make sense based on the information that you are given. X and Y represent the lengths in inches of fish. So what they're telling you, for this first ordered pair, you have a fish that's 4 inches. You have a fish that's -1 inches. For the second ordered pair, you have a fish that's 12 inches. And you have a fish that's 9 inches. So something that doesn't make sense is this fish with a length of -1 inches. This ordered pair does not make sense because fish cannot have negative inches in length. So answer choice D is the one you want to choose. The solution 12,9 makes sense. A 12-inch fish makes sense. A 9-inch fish makes sense. But 4 -1 does not. A 4-inch fish makes sense, but you cannot have a fish with a length of -1 inches. That just doesn't work. So no math, just kind of reading and reasoning there. I know it's weird, but here we are. So that was 12. We are going next to number 16. Number 16 tells you a ball rolls down a ramp with a slope of 2/3. At one point, the ball is 10 feet high, and at another point, the ball is 4 feet high, as shown in the diagram below. They want to know what's the horizontal distance x in feet the ball traveled as it rolled down the ramp from 10 feet to 4 feet high. Do not just pick 6 because 10 minus 4 is 6. That is not the answer. We're looking for the horizontal distance. So we're looking for how far away are those two things. It's labeled as x on the bottom. You can kind of think about the fact that since that would be a little rectangle on the bottom, if it's x on the bottom, you know it's going to be x up here too. So here's the first thing you need to think about. You know that the slope is 2/3. So we're going to use that to kind of set up some sort of proportion. We do need to use the number 6. Since your ball is rolling from 10 feet down to 4 feet, that means the rise here is going to be 6. Remember with slope, you're talking about rise over run. Your run in this case is x. So you know the slope is 2/3. Based on this diagram, we know the rise and the run are 6 and x. We can take these things and set them equal to each other. Now we have a proportion that we can solve. We want to cross multiply. And we end up with 2x equals 18. Divide both sides by 2. And you end up with x equals 9. So 9 feet. So you needed the 6, but it wasn't your answer. Remember, you're thinking about rise over run here. You know the horizontal distance is x. That's what we're looking for. The rise is 6 because you go from 10 feet down to 4 feet. So the difference between those two things is 6 feet. Set up and solve your proportion. 17 you're going to do on your own, but I do have a hint for you here. So when it's full, meaning 0 cups dispensed. And underline that. So that might just help you when you do number 17 on your own. 18 we are going to do together. It's similar to 16, a little bit different, but similar. So it tells you that a pole is placed against the house 6 feet from the base of the wall. In this position, the pole has a slope of 5/3. What height off the ground does the top of the pole rest against the house? If it helps you to draw a picture, draw a picture. So here's your pole. Pretend that this looks like a house. Use your imagination. There we go. There's a door that fixes it. I know it doesn't. There's the ground. It's green because it's the grass. The pole's placed 6 feet from the base of the wall, so you know this is going to be 6. And what they're asking you for is what height off the ground does the top of the pole rest against the house? So we are looking for this. I'm going to call it X. I know this looks like you should use Pythagorean theorem, but you don't have enough information here to use Pythagorean theorem, but we know the slope. We know the rise over the run again. So rise over run is 5/3. When you are looking at this picture, remember rise is your vertical change. So vertical distance in this case is X, run is your horizontal change, which in this case is 6. So another proportion, just like number 16, cross multiply, you get 30 equals 3x. Now you're dividing both sides by 3, squeezed in on the bottom here, and you end up with 10 equals x. So 10 feet, answer choice C. 19 asks you for the rate of change. So remember, rate of change is basically real life slope, so we're looking for the slope of this graph. This one you have to be careful with though, because you have to make sure you are paying close attention to the scale that you're given. So if you're looking for the rate of change, remember you're just looking for 2 points and you can find the rise over the run. So I'm going to use these two. My rise, I go from 50 to 40 and I go down, so it's going to be negative. You go down 2 spaces, but you go down 10 units. So your rise here is going to be negative 10. Your run, to the right, you go 4 spaces, but again, careful with your units. You go to the right 10 units. So negative 10 over 10 gives you negative 1 for your slope, or your rate of change. So pay close attention to your scale on your graph anytime that you're given one. A lot of the questions we'll do in the next chapter, in chapter 4, you're going to see that you need to make sure you're paying close attention to your scale for your graph. Next, we're going to 21. So 21 asks you which is an equation of the line that contains the point 0, 3 and negative 2, 4. Easiest way to do this is just plug in the x values and the y values. When you plug your numbers in here, you're plugging in 0 for x, 3 for y, negative 2 for x, positive 4 for y. If you plug one in to an equation and it doesn't work, then you don't have to plug the other one in, because then that line doesn't contain both of those points. So when you plug into your first equation, 2 times 0 plus 3. 2 times 0 gives you 0. 0 plus 3 gives you 3. So the first point works. I'll do the second one in a different color. When you plug the second point in, 2 times negative 2 plus 4. 2 times negative 2 gives you negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 gives you 0. So that one doesn't work, which tells you this is not your answer. Move down to answer choice B. This is basically the quickest way to get to your answer here. So for answer choice B, 0 plus 2 times 3. 2 times 3 gives you 6. 0 plus 6 gives you 6, which is what you wanted since it says equals 6, so that one works. When you plug in the second one, negative 2 plus 2 times 4. 2 times 4 gives you 8. Negative 2 plus 8 gives you 6. That one also works, which tells you answer choice B is your answer. So all you have to do there is plug in your points, plug in x and y. Whichever equation both of the points make true, that's the one that you want to choose. 2 more questions we're going to do together. Number 23 asks you to rate this equation in standard form. You are looking for what's the equation of this vertical line. Remember vertical lines if you're thinking about Hoy-Vox, which you should be since it's a vertical line. This one's vertical, so it's going to be x equals, and in this case that is x equals negative 1. So answer choice D. 24 looks kind of like things that we did in chapter 2, but it's in here With chapter 3, because you have two variables. So if 3 times the quantity m plus n plus 3 equals 15, then what does m plus n equal? You can use guess and check, you can use whatever you want to use here, but we're looking for kind of this whole entire thing rather than just one variable. So 3 times m plus n plus 3 equals 15. Distributing is not going to help you here, so don't distribute. First thing you want to do is get rid of this 3. Subtract it, it goes away. Now you have 3 times m plus n equals 12. If you want to get m plus n by itself here, you need to get rid of that 3 that's in front of it, so divide both sides by 3. Now you know that whole quantity m plus n equals 4. So answer choice C. So with the chapter 3 problems, when you're going through and you're doing the individual ones, remember, most of the questions, if you get a word problem, you get an equation, and you're asked to answer a question about the ordered pair, look back, see what they told you the ordered pair represents, what x represents, what y represents. Make sure with ones where you're deciding, is this a solution, yes or no, you're just plugging those numbers in. And there's a couple that you're going to have to graph, so make sure you're thinking about x-intercept, y-intercept here in this chapter.